acknowledge that the Williams Treaties First Nations have been stewards and caretakers of these lands and waters, and today remain vigilant over their health and integrity for generations to come. We are all treaty people. When we think about our steps to reconciliation during Pride Month, we certainly want to acknowledge the history of Two-Spirit community and the importance of creating safe and inclusive spaces for queer and Two-Spirit Indigenous folks. The creation of the term Two-Spirit is attributed to Elder Myra Laramie, who proposed its use in the third annual Intertribal Native American, First Nations, Gay, and Lesbian American Conference held in Winnipeg in 1990. Today is a special day. While the town of Cobourg has flown the Pride flag many times before to mark Pride Month, I'm honored to say this is the first time that we are holding a ceremony in conjunction with our Equity, Diversity, Inclusion Committee, whose work we're very proud of and embrace. We see this as an important step forward in marking our continued commitment to being a more inclusive community within the town of Cobourg and Northumberland. The town of Cobourg is pleased to join communities again across Northumberland County in celebration of Pride Month as an opportunity to recognize the influence of 2S LGBTQ+ communities and to join them around the world, while continuing to advocate for equity and representation for all. And again, it is indeed a pleasure to be here and to represent Cobourg Council and senior staff. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Henderson. So welcome to the 6th annual Rainbow Flag Raising at Victoria Hall. The first flag raising happened in June 2017, and since then there has been Pride in Cobourg. The rainbow is a symbol of the LGBTQ+ pride and is used quite frequently at Pride events as a symbol of the 2S LGBTQ2 movements and inclusivity. Pride is a political movement that promotes the advancements of queer rights and takes a positive stance against discrimination and violence that happens to many queer identified people that still continues today, locally in this community, all over Canada, and across the world. Pride promotes self-affirmation, dignity, equal rights, increased visibility, builds communities, and celebrates sexual diversity and gender identity. It is through this visual representation with a rainbow flag, this is the progressive rainbow flag, flying at a municipal government building that initially created a Cobourg Pride Day, which is the third Saturday in June, that was announced in 2017, which that year evolved into a Pride March and many other fun queer-friendly events that everyone in the community was welcome to attend. It has been an honor to continue with this tradition. If anyone has reservations about flying a rainbow flag, you need to take a step back and ask yourself why. Pride was not born of a need to celebrate being queer, but the right to exist without persecution. As being queer used to be illegal in this country, as well as a diagnosed mental health disease, with treatments typically being electroshock therapy. Our organizations, so that includes PFLAG and the Cobourg Queer Collective, would like to see more communities within Northumberland recognize Pride Month, so one day we can come together and celebrate Northumberland Pride. But for now, let's cheer for small town Pride. So visit Pride Northumberland's Facebook page, which is at Pride Northumberland, for the promotion of Northumberland Pride and to enter Pride-related contests. One is called Follow the Rainbows, and a chance to win prizes and Pride swag throughout the month. There are many events planned for this June, so please visit PFLAG's Facebook page, which is at PFLAG Cobourg, for up-to-date information for all of the Pride events happening in our area and throughout Northumberland County. And I'll conclude my speech with the following quote that I said when we first unveiled the Rainbow Crosswalk on June 3rd, 2019. The promotion of queer representation in rural communities is of the utmost importance, and it would be great to see this message of recognition and acceptance spread throughout the entire county. Visibility matters. Thank you.
Just as a bit of a reason why we're raising the progressive flag, the progressive flag, which is with the black, brown, blue, pink, and white, is for the inclusion of BIPOC folk as well as transgender folk. It just promotes more inclusivity within an already very inclusive community. So that's the reason behind the new flag. All right, so.
Before we begin, as our tradition, we would like to acknowledge that we are located on the traditional and treaty territory known as the Mississauga and Chippewa Nations, collectively known as the Williams Treaties First Nations. The Cobourg Police Service respectfully acknowledges that the Williams Treaties First Nations have been stewards and caretakers of these lands and water, and that today remain vigilant over the health and integrity for generations to come. We are all treaty people. Again, I want to thank everybody for continuing to join the town of Cobourg on launching Pride Month today here in Cobourg. It was a great opportunity for us to partner with our municipal partners at Victoria Hall as we raised the flag there. That followed a great opportunity for Walk the Walk. So what a busy, busy day and a great day. This is the 7th year that we've raised the Pride flag here at the Cobourg Police Service. It is the first year that we recognize the progressive flag, celebrating diversity, a gesture to show our allyship of the LGBTQ2S and transgender and BIPOC community. The Cobourg Police Service is honored to stand together in celebration with our community and proud to see multitude of pride colors around town. Today, we take a very direct and firm stance against discrimination and violence that continues even today to folks in our community, locally, across Canada and the world. Being a proud father of a daughter who is a happily married gay woman, I know this continually happens today. We have to do better. At this point, I would call upon Mayor Henderson to come forward and bring a few words.
Again, good afternoon or good morning. It's delightful to be here and to be representing Cobourg Town Council. I believe almost every member of council is here with us today. And again, I bring greetings from CO Vaughn and senior staff. When we think about our steps to reconciliation during Pride Month, we want to acknowledge the history of the Two-Spirit community and the importance of creating a safe and inclusive space for queer and Two-Spirit Indigenous folks. The creation of the two-term spirit is attributed to Elder Myra Laramie, who proposed its use during the 3rd annual Intertribal Native American, First Nation, Gay, and Lesbian American Conference held in Winnipeg in 1990. I want to emphasize that date, 1990. Please remember, we're now in 2022. Today is indeed a special day. While the town of Cobourg has flown the Pride flag many times to mark Pride Month, Today was the first. We held a ceremony just earlier in conjunction with the Equity, Diversity, Inclusionary Committee, whose work we are indeed very proud of and embrace. And I'd very much like to thank our newest employee, who's just done a wonderful job. Ms. Bell, thank you so much. We see this as an important step forward in marking our continued commitment to becoming a more inclusive committee. The town of Cobourg is pleased to join communities across Northumberland County in celebration of Pride Month as an opportunity to recognize the influence of 2SLGBTQ+ as identified in our progressive flag and communities have had around the world, while continuing to advocate for equity and representation for all. As mayor, I'm very proud of the stand that Cobourg Council has made to be inclusive throughout our Cobourg, and I'm hoping in future Northumberland community. Thank you, and thank you, Chief.
Thank you very much, Your Worship, and no stranger to us here at the Cobourg Police Service, who's Ashley Bowman has led us in opportunities to train and to become more aware of our role in this. I would like now welcome to Ashley Bowman, our Community and Local Peace Chapter lead, co-founder of the Cobourg Queer Collective, and obviously a strong community advocate, to say a few words.
Thank you, Chief. And before I start my speech, I just want to say that historically it is thanks to the Cobourg Police Service, Mayor Henderson and Adam Bureau, and former Police Chief Kailu, to actually get Pride started in this community. So we are here today because of those combined efforts, and it is really great to see and build partnerships that will help for a more positive and progressive future within all of our communities. So, welcome to the 7th annual Rainbow Flag Raising at Cobourg Police Services. The very first rainbow flag raising ceremony in Cobourg happened on June 3rd, 2016 at the Cobourg Police Services building, and henceforth set a precedent of pride recognition, celebration, and events in Cobourg. That year, the reception of the flag raising spurred interest in other queer pride events in Cobourg, and the P-Flag group marched in the Canada Day Parade with Trinity United Church, which is an affirming congregation. We marched down King Street amidst some boos, but we received mostly cheers. Since then, the Pride movement in this area has presented the notion of visibility throughout the local Pride community, as well as being and remaining a political movement and statement. In our community, there is still a lot of work that needs to be done. Members of the queer community still face queerphobia, as well as harassment, both verbal and physical. Homophobic and transphobic sentiments are frequently shared online, often found in comment sections, especially regarding anything to do with our community or anything to do with pride or queerness in our community. A recent example of this would be that there was an article written about a group of people in Port Hope that are trying to organize their own rainbow crosswalk in their downtown, and are attempting to get the Port Hope Town Council on board with their initiative. The article had over 1,000 responses, with many of the comments, with many hate-filled comments, which is a sad thing to see now in 2022. That's why this year's theme for our Pride Month is Visibility Matters. So, if anyone has reservations about flying a rainbow flag or just the representation of Pride in general, you need to take a step back and ask yourself why. Pride was not born of a need to celebrate being queer, but the right to exist without prosecution, as being queer used to be illegal, and many people were subjected to brutal violence from government and law officials just because of their sexual orientation or gender representation. So instead of wondering why there isn't a straight pride movement, be thankful that there isn't a need for one. Our organizations, so that's the P-Flag, Cobourg Chapter, and the Cobourg Queer Collective, would like to see more communities within Northumberland recognize Pride Month, recognize that queer people exist and live in our communities and are moving to our communities. which is why visibility matters. There are many events planned for this June, so please visit the P-Flags Facebook page at P-Flag Cobourg for up-to-date information for all of the Pride events happening in our area and throughout Northumberland County. We need to come together and celebrate Northumberland Pride. Thank you.
So please recognize our gratitude. And in that, we are also going to be collecting some donations. Lisa, I got it. I know, I got it. Lisa, poor Lisa, she tries to keep me on track all the time. We are going to be collecting donations for P-Flag, so please see Lisa, and whatever you can spare, that'll help them out. In 2016, as Ashley had indicated, we were led by a group who really wanted to bring pride celebration to Cobourg, and that takes champions. So Ashley is obviously one of those champions. But the other champion is Councillor Adam Bureau, who's here today. And as our final speaker today, I really truly believe that Adam deserves the right to wrap this part of it up before we raise the flag. And it's perfect timing, Adam, because the sun is coming out. So just find that window, Adam.
I'll be quick, thank you. 2015, I became volunteered for the downtown business improvement area and became the chair of special events. We were looking at new events to bring, and I was at home with my daughters, and we were talking about what could we bring to Cobourg. And before that, they were telling me a story about how some of their friends at school who were part of the LGBTQ community were getting bullied. And I said, well, what's a great way to create awareness? And I didn't even know at that time that P-Flag was there. So I talked to a few friends, and they gave me Ashley's name, and we met and we talked, and she said this is a great idea to start this, and we should create awareness. So we went to Chief Clyde at the time, and he said all on board, and we did that year, I believe, our first Pride March down King Street. Since then, to me, the most important part is educating people on educating people on how people should be acting towards each other, towards kindness and empathy. And I think these ceremonies are really important to create that awareness. And I want to thank Mayor Henderson for carrying on this tradition that we're doing. And I want to thank Chief Paul Vandergraaf for always being a champion at this as well, and his whole police department. As you can see, everybody's here deeply cares about this and want to help educate and create awareness. So I know, in famous words of Paul Vandergraaf, we've come so far, but we can always do better. So thank you, and happy Pride Month, everyone.
Thanks very much. Okay, Todd, let her up.